As a man of the people, I give everyone what they want, and we are now learning more horses. Thanks to the recommendations in YouTube, and thanks to Uma Musume. Let's go.
A common theme in Uma Musume is inspiration of past generations. In previous videos, we've covered the inspiration of Tokai Teo by Simbali Rudolph, a nod to
Oh, I
real-life
haven't
events
seen
and a
that one
source
yet.
of motivation for Teo to try her absolute best. In doing so, Teo would inspire the main characters of Season 3, Kita
Should I do a Teo run? I don't have a Teo, but I think I can get one. I'm pretty sure.
Sun Black and Satono Diamond. Though their stories will be saved for future videos to come, today I wanted to focus on a Season 1 fan favorite from the anime, one who inspired Special Week and became her closest friend. Once more, just like all Umas, this story is based on real-life events. This is the story of Silent Suzuka, the runaway from another dimension who dominated the race course. Silent Suzuka was born on May 1st, 1994, in the town of Biratori, Hokkaido. Just like our previous video with Tokai Teo, Silent Suzuka was a stallion with a legacy continued on from his sire. Suzuka's sire was Sunday Silence, an American racehorse who retired with a total
America!
of 10 races, with the lowest placement being second out of all of them. Interestingly, despite being a horse from the United States, Sunday Silence would find himself venturing to Japan.
You can tell that horse had a burger or two. You can see the American on this horse.
Several factors played a role in Sunday Silence's transfer to Japanese soil. At the time, Sunday Silence was named Horse of the Year in 1989 after winning the Kentucky Derby. Due to the dominating record of Sunday's career, it caught the attention of Zenga Yoshida, a prominent Japanese breeder who had already invested in Sunday Silence. Arthur Hancock III, the owner of the farm Sunday Silence was born on, was struggling with financial difficulties at the time. Due to this,
He
and lack
sold
of
the
interest
horse.
from American breeders, Yoshida would claim ownership of Sunday Silence, taking him back to Japan. This wasn't to race Sunday, but instead to make him a breeding stud for future race horses.
Oh, smart. I didn't even consider that. That you could get an older racehorse not to race it, but to breed it for more racehorses. That's big brain.
Low interest was also present in America due to an injury Sunday sustained following his retirement. Ironically, the same decorated horse who has met with skepticism from American breeders would lead to be one of the most successful sires for the future of Japanese horse racing.
They saw Suzuka's potential and they capitalized on it. Smart.
Silent Suzuka would debut on February 1st, 1997 in Kyoto. Suzuka would take first place in this race, catching the eye of spectators with his debut. This wasn't a normal victory that people would see from a maiden race, but instead a complete blowout. Silent Suzuka would win this 1600-meter race by 7 whole lengths,
Damn.
a dominating performance of speed on a turf-based racecourse. Even from an early age, Suzuka showed promise on turf-based tracks. This race would make Silent Suzuka a fan favorite. However, unlike his maiden debut, the remainder of the year wouldn't be so impactful. Over the following races that Suzuka would participate in, ranging from March 2nd, 1997 to December 14th, 1997, we'd see Suzuka experience highs and lows of his racing career. Suzuka would only win 2 of the 8 following races, with the lowest placement being 15 at the Mile Championships in Kyoto.
The fall
This,
off.
surprisingly enough, is all too common for Japanese racehorses. As I've stated in previous videos, the odds of a horse winning a race at all is already slim to begin with. Most horses don't even reach 10 total races in their career, let
Wait, really? Only 10? I didn't know that. Man, look at me. I'm becoming an educational channel.
alone persevere past that point. Suzuka's 1997 race history has a multitude of factors that led to losing the race. In the Yayoi show, Suzuka's second race, held on March 2nd, 1997, Suzuka would go under the gate before the race started.
And then there's Gold Chip. To be fair, Gold Chip is an anomaly. A respectable one, but still an anomaly. Also, he's just ready to race. Look at him. A gate can't hold him back. He's ready to go. Let him free.
Shaking the jockey and resulting in a low placement. After a sequence of 2 wins following the Yayoi show, Suzuka's new aim would be the Tokyo Yushun, or the Japanese Derby. Unfortunately, Suzuka would once more fall short of victory, placing 9th overall. At Suzuka's following race, the Kobe Shimbunhai, he showed promise, hanging towards the front until the home stretch. This seeming victory would be thwarted by Matikane Fukukitaru, who would overtake Suzuka in the final spurt. In the 2 races that followed, Suzuka would change jockeys from Hiroyuki Uemura, who'd been with Suzuka since his debut, to Hiroshi Kawachi.
I'm curious, what roles, like how big of a role does a jockey play? Obviously, I know you want someone who's like small and thin, so that way it doesn't affect the weight on the horse. And I know you obviously need them to like steer the horse, but I wonder how big of a difference a jockey makes. Like, what makes one jockey better than another jockey? I guess what I'm just asking is what constitutes a good jockey outside of like weight and like being kind of like smaller.
Hiroyuki would express his grievance with Suzuka failing to cooperate with his instructions. Over the course of multiple races, Suzuka would not respond well to his jockey's commands. This
He revolted against his jockey? Damn.
change will result in 2 more low placements for Suzuka. Just like with Hiroyuki, Kawachi also faced similar issues when trying to work with Suzuka as well. Silent Suzuka would prove to be difficult to work with for yet another jockey,
A temperamental horse is always a tricky situation.
resulting in another set of low placements in future races, these being the Autumn Tenno Show and the Mile Championships held in 1997. In addition to the jockey's difficulty to cooperate with Suzuka, his racing style was also not yet refined as well. Silent Suzuka had an odd racing style where he'd advance to the front of the pack only to lose steam and fall behind as the race continued.
Had to up his stamina. I experienced that yesterday in a Super Creek run. Didn't have enough stamina, gassed out. Shame.
Following the string of defeats, Kawachi would be replaced by Yutaka Take, the jockey who, for all but one future race, would be by Suzuka's side as his racing career continued into 1998. This
The horse chooses the jockey.
would be the point where Suzuka would go from an average racehorse to one of the greatest horses to ever emerge from Japan. In the anime, Silent Suzuka changes teams from Team Riel to Team Spica, a nod to the exchange of jockeys Suzuka would experience in his real career. In the anime, it is stated that Suzuka disobeyed orders by ignoring her instructions to conserve energy, causing a rift between the trainer and Uma. Another parallel between the anime and real-life events are the circumstances leading up to Suzuka's transfer.
I will say this real quick since I've mentioned it in other Uma videos that I've reacted to. I've talked about wanting to watch the anime. I have now decided that I am indeed watching the anime.
The jockeys previous to Take, reflected in Team Riel, will not understand how to fully harmonize with Silent Suzuka, leaving untapped potential yet to be seen. Suzuka's transfer to Yutaka Take, reflected in her transfer to Team Spica, will showcase the true potential that Silent Suzuka had, and the perseverance to bring out the absolute best of his racing capabilities. Season 1 of Uma Musume highlights Suzuka's dominating maiden debut and the final 2 races of
Pasa! You know I gotta pause the video and see when I see a Pasa and instantly point it out because Pasa's best girl. Fight me.
his career, these being the Mai Nichiokan and the Autumn Tenno Show in 1998. In addition to these 2 highlighted races, 1998 would prove to be a dominating year for Silent Suzuka. In the 5 previous races Suzuka participated in, he'd placed first in every single one. Not only this, but in addition to these dominating victories, 2 would be record-setting times. Suzuka's win streak in 1998 would also lead to a surge of interest in Japanese horse racing overall. The period in which Suzuka raced would be dubbed as the golden age for race horses, with Suzuka being a major driving factor in revitalizing the popularity of the sport. Suzuka wasn't only winning races, but doing so by a wide margin against his competitors.
It's impressive.
This would earn Suzuka the title of being the runaway from another dimension, and on May 30th,
That's a cool nickname. I gotta admit, that's a cool nickname.
1998, that title would prove fitting for Silent Suzuka. At this point, Suzuka remained as an undefeated racehorse.
Wait.
Fitting for Silent Suzuka.
Pasa!
At this point, Suzuka remained as an undefeated racehorse for 3 consecutive races in a row, these being the Valentine Stakes, Nakayama Kinen, and the Kokura Daishin, where Suzuka would set a record time. popularity for Suzuka had already skyrocketed, resulting in high favor for Suzuka to win the upcoming G2 race. Despite Suzuka's popularity, the pool of horses he'd compete against were a very strong roster in their own regard.
What's up?
Suzuka would be put against multiple racehorses with winning streaks of their own, most notably Taiki Eldorado and Midnight Bet. For context, the Kinko show, the race Suzuka would participate in, had a record time of 2 minutes 1.4 seconds. This meant that in order to ensure victory, Suzuka would need to at least cross the finish line by the 2-minute mark. No one would expect just how much lower Suzuka would set this time. Suzuka's running style is a gamble in itself, a risky method that has a horse sprint at full speed right out of the gate.
Oh, so it's run as fast as you can at the start and then kind of try to hold that momentum throughout the entire race, even though you're going to slowly start gassing out. See if you could just use that early spurt to carry you all the way through. Smart strategy. I like it. I like it.
Utilization of this technique, dubbed as the runaway method, were used by horses who either disliked physical fights or had a strong desire to run ahead of the pack. For Silent Suzuka, his reason would be the latter. Despite the risky method, Suzuka remained at the front of the pack by a large margin. This race will result in Suzuka's final time being 1 minute and 57 seconds.
That's fast. But not only that, that just goes to show that's something I try to internalize myself, is that if you have your own unique style, it's best to just go with it. Weird side tangent, by the way. I have a bad habit of doing things a unique way and then going like, well, everyone else is kind of like doing this a different way. Maybe I should not do it my way and try someone else's way. I try to fight that urge to do that because it's more beneficial to do it in a unique way. That's something I try to keep in my mind, and Suzuka proves that to me, that if you have your own unique style, roll with it.
With Midnight Bet, the second place recipient, clocking in a time of 1 minute and 59 seconds. Silent Suzuka has set a dominating record time, beating Bet by distance, with the official documentation stating by 11 horse lengths. This victory would solidify Suzuka's 4th consecutive win in 1998. On July 12th of the same year, Suzuka would compete in the Takarazuka Kinen, a G1 race that would truly test Suzuka's fighting spirit. Up until this point in his career, Suzuka had yet to claim a victory in a G1 competition, with the previous 4 victories being either G2 or G3 races. This race would also prove difficult due to Take being unable to jockey Suzuka. Originally, due to the distance of the Takarazuka Kinen, Silent Suzuka's handler would opt to not race him and instead plan to set the goal of winning the Autumn Tenno show later on in the year. Due to this, Take would instead jockey Air Groove for the Takarazuka Kinen.
I just did an Air Groove one, and I won first try.
This was the plan, until by sudden request of Suzuka's owner, he was suddenly registered for the G1 race. Due to the short time between registration and
Oh, so it's a swap out. Suzuka wasn't even supposed to run this race. Okay.
the race day, Suzuka was paired with Katsumi Minai. Worry quickly circulated due to Suzuka's history of previous handlers and if he'd be able to squeeze a victory with Katsumi as his jockey. Luckily for Suzuka, Katsumi was a well-seasoned jockey who had worked with multiple famous racehorses, most notably Tamamo Cross and Oguri Cap. Even with a new jockey,
Nice.
Suzuka would manage to claim a victory for his 5th consecutive race in a row.
Oguri Cap's really good too in the game. She's won me a lot of races, and she's won me a lot of like daily races and stuff too. Oguri Cap OP.
Katsumi had later recounted that it was as if the horse ran on his own. The harmonization between jockey and racehorse was clearly present, and Katsumi highly rated Suzuka's overall capabilities on the racetrack. By this point, Suzuka was able to control his pace much more effectively, reducing the probability of running out of stamina mid-race. Suzuka would instead sprint at high speed right out of the gate, slow down and regain stamina midway through.
Can we call that the Suzu style? I feel like that's a cool name. You burst right out the gate Suzu style.
And spurt on the final straight. With this being the final G1 victory for Katsumi Minai, he retired shortly after the Takarazuka Kinen, aiding Suzuka to maintain his chain of first place finishes.
Nice.
Following the Takarazuka Kinen, Suzuka would participate in the Mainichi Crown. As stated previously, a race that was showcased in Uma Musume Season 1, Silent Suzuka will be put once more against a set of strong competitors. In this race, most notably, Grass Wonder and El Condor Pasa.
You know it. I know it. Everyone knows it. I don't care if I'm repeating myself. Pasa is best girl. Look at her. She's so adorable. And that mask, she's so cool.
This race was broadcasted to over 130,000 people, despite it being a G2 race. As personified in the anime, Silent Suzuka would once more show clear domination in this race, beating both Grass Wonder and El Condor Pasa by a decent margin.
No!
In post-interviews held with Pasa's jockey, he would state that it was as if he couldn't even step on Suzuka's shadow, showcasing the sheer strength that Suzuka had to maintain a lead over strong competitors.
Grass Wonder struggled to make even third? Oh, man.
This victory would mark Suzuka's 6th consecutive win in 1998, but would have much deeper meaning to Japanese horse racing. At the time, there was an order in place to protect Japan's domestic horse racing industry. A rule had been established preventing foreign imported horses from participating in G1 races.
Oh, no.
This was to avoid the now common practice of purchasing overseas horses for a cheap price that displayed strong pedigrees and racing potential. Both El Condor Pasa and Grass Wonder were product of this practice.
Oh, right. I forgot about that too.
The fear was present that with an influx of foreign horses, the reputation of Japanese ranches would plummet, as well as the training methods needed to the Japanese people. Silent Suzuka would shatter.
Can we just go back a second? Look how muscular that horse is on the right. That is a beefy boy right there. Holy moly.
Plummet, as well as the training methods needed to the Japanese people. Silent Suzuka would shatter these notions with his dominating victory at the Mainichi Okan, proving once more that horses born and raised in Japan could very well be fierce competitors in their own regard. This victory would serve as an opportunity to lift the ban on foreign horses participating in G1 races. Silent Suzuka's career was at an all-time high, but unfortunately, this would be where his luck would run out. With a staggering growth in popularity and thousands of adoring fans, Silent Suzuka will participate in the Autumn 10 No Show. Suzuka had previously participated in the Autumn 10 No Show a year prior. However, he had an unremarkable placement, finishing 6th overall. This time, Yutaka Take and Suzuka went into the race with high spirits, ready to show the audience yet another dominating victory. This would mark Suzuka's 7th consecutive win overall if he were to place first in this race. At the start of the race, as the anime and real footage showcased, Suzuka wasn't only in the lead, but was in the lead by an incredibly large margin. The JRA race footage shows that Suzuka was so far in front of the pack that even a wide shot of all the competitors could barely capture Suzuka's staggering lead. This was met with cheers for Suzuka to set yet another dominant victory once more. However, as Suzuka continued to run, everything suddenly changed.
Oh no.
Suzuka
Don't tell me she got injured, or he got injured for the horse.
began to decelerate, slowly grinding to a halt as his competitors passed him. In the anime, Suzuka also runs irregularly, as if she lost her balance and tempo. Mid-race, Suzuka had fractured his left front leg.
Oh, that's sad, man. Leg injuries on horses are pretty much the nail in the coffin for their careers. Not always, but a lot of the times.
Rendering him unable to finish the race. An injury mid-race can be dangerous for both the horse and their jockey. An example of this would be Rice Shower's mid-fracture causing his jockey, Matoba, to sustain injury with the fall. Suzuka, despite being injured, didn't topple and fall, but instead, as Take describes, it was as if Suzuka had attempted to protect him, trying all he could to not cause Take injury with a high-speed tumble.
Respect. That actually sent a chill up my spine. That was a good boy. That's a good boy.
Race records for Suzuka show that he did not finish this race, and instead was transported off the racetrack for further examination. Later analysis of this footage revealed that this injury could have been avoided. It seemed as though Suzuka had run faster than his body could handle, and the repeated stress on his leg finally gave way.
He was so good that he got hurt because he was too good? Man.
In the anime, we see silent Suzuka begin to recover from these injuries and eventually return to the track once again. But this is all to pay respect to silent Suzuka's legacy. It's common belief that horses will rebel and buckle if they feel threatened, or accelerate irregularly if their jockeys can't control them. This, however, was not the case for Suzuka. Take and Suzuka had an extensive history together, and encountered little to no conflict when on the racecourse. Even recounts from Take reveal that Suzuka didn't show any signs of irregularity in behavior, he just accelerated on his own. This led many to believe that Suzuka simply wanted to see how fast he could go, which, once more, is clearly personified in Uma Musume. Unfortunately, at the age of 4 years
Just
old,
too good.
silent Suzuka, due to his injury in the Autumn Tenno show, would be euthanized, ending a career with an
Oh, no, that's actually sad. Oh, I wasn't expecting that ending. I mean, if the horse was suffering, it makes sense, but still sad to hear.
undefeated year of racing. Unsurprisingly, this event came as a major shock to fans of Japanese horse racing. A Fuji TV announcer's phrase, "the Sunday of silence," would become the symbol of this tragedy. The Autumn Tenno show would take place on November 1st, 1998, which fell on a Sunday. This phrase, "the Sunday of silence," would pay respects to the day of Suzuka's passing, and also the legacy that he came from, being an offspring of Sunday silence. To many, Suzuka's abrupt death was one of the biggest what-ifs in horse racing history. Suzuka had finally found a style which suited him, a jockey who he trusted dearly, and had gained the adoration of thousands. All these achievements alongside the prospect of even more wins snuffed out in an
You know, Silent Suzuka may have went out, but they went out a winner. They went out a champion.
instant. Uma Musume did a great job with showcasing Suzuka's legacy in the anime. As mentioned earlier, instead of simply writing Suzuka out of the series, she instead remains a motivator for Special Week and the rest of Team Spica. Uma Musume tends to shy away from creating scenarios that didn't occur in real-life records, but instead aim to honor the legacy that was left behind by racehorses who met an abrupt end. Silent Suzuka and Rice Shower are both examples of this. Although they still exist in the series, their stories have ended long ago. A touching legacy hidden in the anime is Special Week and Suzuka's friendship.
Yeah, even though they're gone, a part of them lives on as anime horse girls. And to be fair, if it wasn't for the anime horse girls, I never would have heard of them. So it's kind of cool and special that they get to live on through these characters.
This is a nod to Take's following race in the Autumn Tenno show.
It just reminds me of that saying, as long as one person remembers you, you never truly die.
Where alongside Special Week, Take would bring home a first-place finish a year after Suzuka's tragic incident, a touching legacy displayed by a tight bond that these two Uma share while training in Tracen Academy. Suzuka's legacy is also highlighted in Uma Musume Pretty Derby, where the final race in her career before the Ura finale is the Autumn Tenno show, giving players a chance to allow her to finish a race that she never would. The impact of Suzuka's death hit people incredibly hard. A recount from Junko Hosoe, a race commentator who also appears in Uma Musume, states that people flooded the phone lines of the JRA Tokyo racecourse, all inquiring if Suzuka was okay. Amazingly, the JRA did not turn these callers away. The internet wasn't as widespread at this time, so instead, the JRA spent the entire day relaying Suzuka's situation to concerned fans.
That's respectable too. Instead of them just getting annoyed and being like, this isn't the place to call to know about the updated horses. We're just the company that runs the races. Why are you bothering us? They took time out of their day to let people know of what was going on. It's impressive. I usually do not expect good things from corpos. It's cool when you actually hear that sometimes, very rarely, they have a human side.
Urging them to pray for Suzuka's swift recovery. Suzuka's passing also led to the creation of memorials and even a dedicated song to honor him. This song is entitled Tenma no Yoni, like a Pegasus. Today, fans of Suzuka can visit the Chugyo racecourse to honor and pay respects to his legacy, a racehorse who redefined Japanese horse racing and left behind a string of triumphant victories, personified in Uma Musume by a diligent Uma with a deep compassion for her friends and a drive to always give it her all. This was the story of Silent Suzuka, a career
Man,
which ended
this
abruptly,
was really
but would leave
cool.
behind a legacy that would inspire future generations to come. Who should I cover next in this series, and what was your favorite part? Be sure to let me know in
Wakanda
the comment
Pasa.
section down below. Thank you all for joining me, and as always, I will see you all in the next one.
Another great video. I'm learning so much about horses, and I'm here for it every single time. Let's drop this bad boy a like real quick. Bam.